The Detroit Lions, a team I'm still insanely high on and would have gone to the Super Bowl in my opinion if injuries just didn't cripple their defense. That was a big key for the Lions last year is injuries. They just wouldn't stop. But this team is still very good. I think they very much have a chance to go to the Super Bowl for the first time in franchise history, even though they did lose some coordinators, even though they did lose some talent. But this team's still insanely good, and they have the proper man to man the ship in Dan Campbell. So let's talk about the Detroit Lions today and why I'm so hopeful for them this year. To start out, we have to talk about the Detroit Lions offseason, in which they did lose 2 to 3 players that can be very impactful depending on how you look at it, and they lost their 2 coordinators, with Ben Johnson going to the Chicago Bears and Aaron Glenn going to the New York Jets. I'm not really all that worried about it. Now, listen, you can say Ben Johnson was an offensive genius. Yes, very much so, but you also got to look at it like this. Dan Campbell had a big part of that offense. I don't care what anybody says. Dan Campbell runs the ship. If Ben Johnson did something he didn't want to do, it wouldn't be happening. We're going to see how Ben Johnson is without Campbell in Chicago. I still have faith in Campbell keeping his unit, keeping his coaching staff together, and coming up with a really good offense game plan week to week. And the same thing goes for the defense. Now, I'm highlighting the offense here, Dan Campbell, because he does come from the offense side of the ball. But I have faith in him. He's a hard-nosed coach. He knows what he wants in his team to do. He'll have the right defensive coach in place. But looking at the players they lost, I think it's important to talk about the 2 guys that just left in free agency instead of the retirement first. Carlton Davis went to the New England Patriots. Carlton Davis is a very talented player that has injury issues. I overall don't mind the move for the Lions not trying to keep him because he signed for $18 million a year. Can't say I would give him that contract personally. They also lost Kevin Zeitler, who is just getting up there in age. It's not a major loss. It can impact them. He was a fine blocker, but he's not the real major loss in the offensive line. The major loss is Frank Ragnow, and every Lions fan would probably tell you this. Frank Ragnow was a beast for the Detroit Lions. He was a guy that could just put his nose down and block a path for anybody on that team. Replacing him is not going to be easy, even though I do like one of their draft picks, and I think he'll be given that role. But expecting him to be Frank Ragnow day one is just way too high of expectations he should have at the moment. But the Lions did bring in one player who I really like in DJ Reed. DJ Reed is a versatile player who can play outside corner and nickelback. He is very versatile, can cover both, good at anticipating the ball, can make turnover plays happen, get the ball back to your offense. Very good, solid player, and I love the move for the Lions, replacing Carlton Davis with DJ Reed, because DJ Reed does stay healthier on a more consistent basis than Carlton Davis. Now, to talk about the Lions draft class, there's really 2 players I'm going to highlight here, even though I do love their Dominic Lovett pick. Very much under the radar guy that could work, but he's not really the highlights of this draft class. The highlights are their first 2 picks in Tyleik Williams, who is a very talented defensive lineman from Ohio State University. In my opinion, he was the best Ohio State defensive line prospect. He can play both the run and pass. His hands are very quick. He can get them on offensive linemen, move them around very good. Has very elite hand movement. He sets up rips. He sets up swims. Very good. I like the pick for the Lions. I especially think he'll fit in that hard-nosed mindset of the Lions defense. And then with their second-round pick, if you listen to me during the draft process, I was high on Tate Ratledge, even though I didn't make a video on him because offensive lineman footage, not the easiest to find to upload a video on. But Tate Ratledge just spoke to me. When he was healthy last year, that Georgia offense was leaps and bounds better than when he was hurt. When he was hurt, that offense had struggled with interior offensive line protection, getting pushed on the ball in the interior line. That's Georgia. When that happens to a team elite as Georgia at developing interior offensive linemen, developing the trenches, I take notice. He was the linchpin of that offensive line, and I look at him going to the Lions. Perfect. He's a smash mouth type player, and I expect them to try and move him in to replace Frank Ragnow. Is that going to happen? I don't know. That's a very hard position to fill in, replacing an elite center like Ragnow, but he's so talented, I'm willing to give him the chance. And if he does hit, that is great contract value for a starting center in the NFL for the next 4 years. When you look at all the contract the Lions have to pay out right now to Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jared Goff, they extended David Montgomery. They may extend Jahmyr Gibbs sooner rather than later. They're going to have to pay Aiden Hutchinson. Finding great value at a position of need like that for the contract they will be giving out is just amazing. Talk about the Lions' strength. It's their offense. I still think their O-line will be pretty good. That running back room is probably the best two-back set in the NFL by a wide margin. Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery they complement each other so phenomenally well. And mind you, I was not a big fan of Jahmyr Gibbs' pick. I'm not a fan of taking the running back first round. I'll swallow the pill here and say it was a good move. Maybe not in the long run, but if they can win a Super Bowl with this tandem, by all means, go for it. The receiver room, still pretty solid. Jameson Williams, you would like to see more production from, but Amon-Ra St. Brown is amazing. Tim Patrick is a good, solid vet. If Williams can progress like we all think he has that potential to be, this Lions offense is taken to a next level. They also have a tight end known as Sam Laporta, who is also pretty amazing. Their offense will be fine. It'll be perfect. Now we look at their defense, and that's where I have some concerns, and it's not really their starters, because I think their starters are all pretty good. But we saw what happened last year when the injury bug hit them, and their depth on the defense was just very questionable. They can try and fix it in one offseason, but you most likely need many drafts to overhaul depth issues, and that's just not there for the Lions. I still think this team's really good. I still think this defense is really good, and getting Aiden Hutchinson back, who missed the majority of the season last year, is a major plus for the Lions. Now, where do I have the Lions finishing in their division? I have them winning first place. It's not really that hard for me to figure out. Outside of first, I don't know much about the NFC North, but I'm pretty confident saying unless the injury bug hits them even harder this year, they'll take first place in division pretty convincingly. I think the Lions are just on a tier above in the contention ladder for the NFC than the rest of the NFC North that's just in the very competitive and can make trouble in the playoffs tier. But you look at the Lions, they just have all the tools that they can go on a deep Super Bowl run, and that's what you want to see for a team, especially for the Detroit Lions fans who really haven't experienced a Super Bowl in their lifetime because they've never made it. Their last NFL championship, I believe, was in the 50s, if I'm correct. It's been a long time since that city has had a championship Lions team to look for, and it would be very cool to see the Lions do it this year. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and if you would share this, I'd greatly appreciate it. I'm doing 32 teams in 32 days, 32 team previews. Tomorrow is the Green Bay Packers. Yesterday was the Denver Broncos. Come on, tune in, check out some more previews as they keep on coming out. Lions fans, there's a Chicago Bears preview already on this account if you want to hear me talk about them, or if you just want to hear me rage about the Bengals offseason, go ahead, click on the playlist, find that video. I had plenty to say on that horrible mismanagement by ownership, and I'll specifically say ownership there. But thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.